Hello, and welcome to the Job Description Self-Paced Training Series. During the course of this series, we're going to tackle a few things. We're going to identify why we're having this conversation in the first place. What is the importance of job descriptions for your organization and for your diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives? Then we're going to go into diagnostics. How can you tell if you have a good title and a good job description or a bad one, and what can you do about it? This is going to lead us into the techniques. So we are going to teach techniques to create great titles and great job descriptions, and then dive into details with actionable tips and tricks in bite-sized pieces so that you can evolve your program, your job descriptions into something that's fantastic. And then we will wrap up the series with next steps, making sure you can take those learnings, those skills, and apply them into your organization and into your hiring practices. And we're going to do this through the series of 12 conversations, each of them in short format, so that you can step by step go through the conversation, starting with the why we're doing this in the first place, and then diving first into titles, the basics of what makes a great versus a not so good title, and then what we can do about it to create amazing titles, and then moving over into the descriptions themselves. From the basics of is it a good or a bad description, to diving into the anatomy of a good job description, how it looks, how to get the details, how to build it out so that it's fully engaging and inclusive to your talented pool. And then finally, we're going to take all that work that we did with titles and with job descriptions and talk about repackaging. How can we optimize the communication, the message of those job descriptions for who we're trying to reach, how we're reaching them, and what we need to get out of each of those interactions, before finally bringing the whole thing together into one actionable item. So like with any career.place training, this is going to be a combination of various elements. There's going to be the teaching element of the what, the why, the how for any of these new skills and techniques. There's also going to be examples, seeing it in action and how it impacts a description. We're going to have practice exercises so you can take each of these techniques back into your organization, into your job descriptions, and practice these new skills. We're also going to have accompanying action items. How can you take these skills and apply them into your organization and evolve your practices? And then the whole thing will have reinforcement. So these are the written materials, the recorded materials that you'll have continuous access to. So you always have something to go back to as you continue to evolve your programs. So with each of these sessions, you're going to have a few things that you have access to. In addition to these recordings, you will have access to the slides and the written content. So for those of you who are more learners or that you like to reinforce the conversations with words, with reading, that is there too. So there's going to be section chapters to each of these conversations. You're also going to have access to examples and exercises. See it in action and then practice it for yourself. And action lists, step-by-step items that you can use to impact your organization, your programs with the learnings from each of the sessions. There is also a place to ask questions, send feedback, send comments. Please take advantage of this. We do answer these. We do read every single one of them and answer them. So if you have a question or there's something confusing or you have a piece of feedback to make a session better, do not hesitate. Click on that questions and feedback and share that with us. For those of you who have the full series, so all 12 programs, you also have included within that package a 30-minute live follow-up. Take advantage of that. Book that time with us and we can talk about anything that we've covered throughout the 12 sessions, go into detail, talk about various questions or comments, dive into exercises, whatever you want to use that time for, that is available to you. You also have that first job description review included. So if you want to see how you did or get some feedback on a job description that you're practicing on, send it over to us. We're happy to take a look at it. We're happy to provide our feedback. That is included for those of you who have the full series. And so you know, For anyone who is a career.place screening platform customer who is looking at getting the full series, interested in the full series, you do get that at a discount. So there's a 50% discount right now for existing career.place platform customers or new customers. So let us know that you're a customer so we can make sure we apply that discount for you. So without further ado, I'd love for you all to join me in creating effective, inclusive job descriptions. And let's jump right in. Let's start with the why. Why are we having this conversation in the first place? Why do job descriptions matter so much? Well, it all starts with a very interesting idiosyncrasy when it comes to job descriptions. Think about the last time you saw a commercial or an ad for something and you really wanted it or it caught your attention. When we advertise our products, our services, they tend to be very catchy. They're beautiful and colorful. The messages are simple or funny or emotional. They're desirable. We are left remembering what we saw. We are left with that desire of wanting to purchase something, to learn more, to take some sort of action, down to the emotional level. And we have to be. This is how they sell products. This is how they get the engagement with their future customers. From Super Bowl ads to full page spreads in a magazine to campaigns in social media. This is how they talk to us, their customers. So why? Why is it that the people behind these amazing ads, these products, these services, this marketing campaign, why are the advertisements for them in these jobs and opportunities so boring? Why is it that these organizations, why do we create the most boring documents in order to attract the talent that we need to create such fantastic things? Don't our future candidates deserve the same excitement and connection as our future customers? But the problem is worse than that, because not only are the documents boring and therefore not memorable and not catchy and not desirable, but in some cases, they can be a deterrent. They can add biases and discriminatory practices, even if it's unintentional. Or they can leave our future employees confused and unengaged and alienated. They can be full of contradictions, which create a disingenuous feel. Or they can set unrealistic expectations so that when our future employees come and join us, they're disappointed rather than engaged because what they thought they were signing up for and what they got are two different things. It could be misaligned, so we attract the wrong talent. Or in some cases, in many cases, it is completely useless. It doesn't add any value at all to engaging our candidates. Job descriptions are advertisements. They need to sell our opportunities, our organizations to our future employees. They need to be simple and easy to remember, but beautiful and catchy. They need to be exciting and colorful. They can be funny and emotional. They have to be desirable and engaging. And I know what some of you are thinking. Hold on. This is more than just an advertisement. This is that legal agreement that we have with our future employees. This is what they're signing up to do. And so we have to make sure it hits certain things. And that means it can't be catchy. And I understand that. But that's a confusion point. Because this first job description, the thing that we use to advertise our job, is not a spec. It's an advertisement. Consider this. How many people have smartphones that are listening to this? Have you ever seen a spec for a smartphone like an iPhone? Have you ever read through it? If you haven't, look it up. That is the legal documentation. That is what Apple is selling you, what they are committing to give you when they sell you the iPhone. It is long. It is very boring. It's hard to get through. If Apple tried to advertise their iPhones, using their product spec, no one would buy it. No one would get through the advertisement to even know what it is they're supposed to be buying. So think of it that way. A job description is not a spec. It is not that boring, boring, boring document. It is the advertisement. There is a place for the job specification. You can introduce that to your qualified candidates later in the hiring process. In fact, you absolutely should, because that is what they are agreeing to, but that is not what catches their attention. So up next, what we're going to talk about next is how do we catch their attention? How do we create these job titles and job descriptions that get our future employees excited to join our organizations? Thank you very much for joining me. I'm looking forward to the next session.